Yo, what's up? This is AJ Evolutio, soldier for the evolution of you, coming at you with the astrological check-in for the full moon with Taurus and Scorpio. Damn, I kind of got that shit smooth, bro. Anyways, yeah, it's gonna peak at like 3:30 p.m. Central Time, around there. So yeah, let's get into it. I got like some papers written and shit. We're emotionally connecting to what we connect to as anchor points for farming our individuality. This is through our character in terms of self-esteem and how much honor and value we place upon what we pour into. This gives rise to change how we view what it is that we do on a daily basis by connecting a deeper meaning to whatever it is that makes you, you. Through this, you can be able to deepen relations as well, due to being able to see the capacity of depth one could hold within their being, granting you greater control of where you place your energy, as you know the underlying pools of energy that it takes to produce a certain esteem/actions, aka honing into your abilities of seeing beneath the veil, and choose who you connect with in the spaces where you farm your individuality. Like because you see somebody holding up these types of characteristics and traits, you know, like, okay, they've been in the same space that I have been, type of shit. And if you see somebody that's like is kind of acting indifferent towards you, then you know, like, okay, there's certain routes they took to get to that space that aren't necessarily along the same routes that I took to get to my space. So I know our spaces wouldn't even mix. So it's like a honing into like what makes you you, and like be able to like have a greater sense of like knowing like what you connect to for the reason that you connect to it for. Like, so it's just like a whole like scoping of totality of your space type of shit. We're talking physical and non-physical. If you had not been in accordance with going for your position/goals, despite any allotment of energy trying to pull you away, then this full moon will show you the physical actuality of whatever stifled emotion you had been clinging to. Meaning like, whatever, I mean, just like how the paper said, like fucking, if it's like some like fucked up type of trains of thoughts that you've been having and shit like that you hadn't been able to shake off, that you hadn't been able to like maneuver around and fucking construct a new like land that makes you more able to come to like an equilibrium space. And when I say equilibrium, just mean like being able to not be so gung-ho on one specific perspective, and just be able to be like, take a surveillance type of shit, just like a watchdogs, like fucking TV screens and shit, just be able to observe shit without any types of like, oh, I have to do this, I have to, type of shit. So it's like, if you had been like, oh, I have to, then you can get the ramifications, the physical ramifications of like what that, oh, I have to do this type of space would like be in your life. So it'd just be like shit where you had to be like, shit would happen to you where you're in the space of like, oh, I have to go do this type of shit, or like, oh, I want to do this, but this shit popped up and I gotta, which might happen even if you are on like a more positive side of energy, more of like a non-biased side of the energy, just because like Uranus conjuncting the moon. So it's like shit's gonna happen where it's like new routes will be available to you, but it's just the way in which you take those routes that count. So it's not necessarily about like any types of physical shit that's happened. It's just how you approach that. So it's like if you had been catering towards like fucked up, stifled pieces within you, then it's like the type of emotions that you would place upon said changes would be catering towards that fucked up, stifled space. You would take it in like a, ow, my fucking arm hurts, type of way, instead of like fucking, yeah, bro, fucking keep moving, right? Without, you'd be more of an exaggeration space as opposed to taking it in stride. And that's not to say like contain whatever exaggeration you have if you're in that space of like being like a great reactor to some shit. Like if it's gotta come out, bro, it's gotta come out. So but it's just like, no, but since you watching this video, just know that, oh, it's the full moon, bro. So I just had some fucked up bad seeds, some stifledness energy that I had been carrying the previous 2 weeks, maybe even longer than that. But some fucked up stifledness I was carrying So like a trip that was contributing to this situation. So like, oh, okay, I can know I could take greater responsibility for this situation at play, and it's not necessarily like a woe is me type of thing. It's more like a, okay, this is the bet I made. As the moon conjuncts Uranus, this full moon is given access to see new routes to consider as anchor points for a different approach to how you foundate feelings of self, self-worth pertaining to whatever house you have Taurus in. So take note of whatever it is that you went to run away from. Ask the reason why you want to run away from it. Then as you move, new routes will be conjured by you, internally and externally speaking. Whenever I talk about anchor points, I mean like we're all living beings, right? We all do shit in the physical world, right? What we do in the world is like the anchor point for like whatever emotion that which fuels that space, whatever thoughts and feelings that which fuel that space that is actually in the realm of taking action. So it's like a whole play of like energy type shit. So it's like um anchor points and allotments of energy. It's like the same type of thing as I describe in like my videos and shit like that. Um like it's just a, what we do as people, regardless of like whatever the fuck it is that you do, right? Just bare bones type shit. Now, I'm gonna be talking about Saturn and Pisces square to Mercury and Sagittarius. With the influence of Saturn square to Mercury in the Jupiterian signs of Pisces and Sagittarius, a harshness in thinking is utilized to discern what really allows our internal waters to be pushed forward, in the sense that as we gain receipts of emotions based upon the anchor points we have created in the physical world, any stifledness can be easily noticed and addressed. As a matter of fact, if any stifledness isn't addressed, it'll lead to entrenching yourself deeper into whatever not shitness type of concept you got in your head. Within that world, the Saturn square Mercury amps up the pressure to where anything experienced feeds into a fucked up concept of the self, then it's just a matter of time before, pop, shit explodes. Even if that happens, don't see it as a bad thing. Use it as a testament to know where you want to be and don't want to be, internally and externally speaking. This blowing up process is to get you to see and be on the lighter side of the Scorpio-Taurus axis, which would look like an inquisitive mind that appreciates the small pieces that constitute the moment it is a part of. It's seeing beneath the veil type of shit. Seeing the anchor points that which constitute the reality. The reason this is happening is because these types of emotional patterns have been at play, which is acts as the root for this space in the physical realm. You know, whenever I talk a lot, it be shit about like just that, the play of shit, the internal external shit. It's like shh. So it's like, to know what I'm talking about, you gotta know that type of shit. And there's people that watch me that do. Right there, I was just speaking to like the people in my real life, so to say. To paint a picture, I see the Taurus Scorpio axis as a swamp ecosystem, and at first thought, you might think, ew, a swamp. But think about how within that space, everything helps nourish each other. It's a type of dance that you see beneath the funky smells or creepy crawly bugs. You'll see many different pieces of life forms creating a bigger scenery. The water holds space, the sun feeds algae, the fish eat algae, bugs eat off the plants, the fish eat the bugs, cycles of life run amok. This perspective is being utilized by Saturn and Pisces square to Mercury and Sagittarius to see the constituents that create your life's allotments of energies and how true they nourish you. AKA, I know in taking the time to pour into whatever craft/way of being that allows me to regard my emotions/feelings as teachers of where/how I want to be is the thing that truly allows me to see the depth of another person, allowing for greater sight of connection. Just an example. But it's like a bare bones example. You could apply that to whatever the fuck you do. Especially with the dispositor of Pisces and Sagittarius, Jupiter being retrograde in Gemini, asking us to declutter/refine the beliefs that we uphold and relate within to create our surroundings. Because you could even look at, because like Gemini is like the space where like all information is at play with each other, just coming about. Your wheel that you created in Aries and the way you foundated it in Taurus is able to relate to other people that have done the same thing in Gemini and be able to compare, contrast, and be like able to help everybody that's one another, that's around each other, further fuel their goals and shit. And your goal would just be your will, whatever you wanted to do at the moment, right? It doesn't have to be something big, it could be something small, or it can be something big, you know, just like whatever. And then you could even look at the yod of Libra and Sagittarius in terms of like the Jupiter and the yod of Scorpio and Capricorn to Jupiter and Gemini, or just Gemini energy in general. But like I'm showing the wheel so you can picture it in your head. But like the deep emotional states that you have, the deep passions, the pulls that you have to something, right? And then how you like foundate that into reality, Capricorn, is what creates the surroundings type of shit. So it's like everything builds off of each other, you know what I mean? As per the ecosystem example. Now, I'm gonna be talking about Vesta and Libra, sextile to Mercury and Sagittarius. With Mercury and Sagittarius, we are entertaining worlds in our head for the reason of wanting to go the distance within whatever ecosystem we see as a promised land, with a plethora of enticing anchor points, or holding out for one path, as that one is seen as promised land that will render in more possibility once reached/attained. Vesta and Libra acting as a purifier whenever we uphold the changes and relation we've made, as the Libra season energies underwent the recalibration points of the South Node, which was asking us if we made enough room within the way we relate ourselves for any newness of life we wish to express, aka checking your internal narc energies of upholding personas for the sake of getting a stroke. So basically it's like, you're not, all the shit that was passing through the Libra South Node was just asking like, is this really true to what you are in the current moment type of shit? Or are you just upholding this for the sake of relation, so to say? And it was kind of like reformulating our energies in that manner, which like led us to be able to speak more truth within Scorpio season, or at least be able to decipher what is truth and what isn't truth in Scorpio season. So that way we're able to like gain a deeper sense of where we sit at within our own being and shit like that. So holding true towards the honoring of your internal movements, Aries, within the way you regulate relations, Libra, we gain a greater touch with the lighthearted energy. So this sextile energy, and I was talking about the Vesta and Libra. So this sextile energy is giving us routes to express the characteristic traits we choose to use in regards to what we choose as the idealistic way we should be relating, and being the poster child for that. All that really means is it's like a speak your mind type of time if you give enough credence to your mind. So if you got shit figured out to some degree, you'll be able to speak that in a situation. You'll be able to talk your talk. And within that same scope, you got to really be trying hard to be fake right now. And it could also be a time where people realize they're being fake, aka their subconscious isn't going to try to hide that shit no more. Like they've probably been running from that shit all Scorpio season, but now they're seeing with the condensification points of like their emotional state, being that the moon is in Taurus and it's so much more so heightened, and all that talk I was talking about with like anchor points and shit like that. Like you're seeing the shit that you've been holding in being brought back to you right now in terms of what that means in actual reality. It's like people was able to see some shit that they had probably been running from, right? Or if you hadn't been running from shit, you're just able to see like gaining receipts as to like, okay, I did this for this reason. So, oh yeah, I was on my shit, bro. I didn't even know I was going that deep with it. Like I was just doing that shit because it felt good at the time. You know what I mean? Or just like, yeah, I'm gonna keep it there. Because it's Scorpio season. Shit changes, shit transforms. Either take the step or get pushed. We only got 6 days left. Every bit counts when it comes to the world of energy. If you're fucked, just ask yourself, what can I do now? And yeah, bro. That was all I wrote. But I didn't even drink no coffee yet. Bro, I'll be posting this shit on Instagram. Should be taking fucking hours to upload. I'll post it on YouTube. It takes fucking hella more hours to upload as well. But like, it's all good though. As long as it gets out there. I'm just looking at the chart to see if any more thoughts coming right now. But yeah, bro, low key, now is a good time for. I say anytime is a good time for breath work. And when I say that, just like if you get to a point where you're like real gun ho about something, and you get to that space where you're like, no, but this has to be the only way to do this. I have to do this because this happened, and then but you start getting into that space. Just breathe in. Make sure you feel that shit in the bottom of your diaphragm, bro. Like, inflate as much as you can. And then hold that shit for a couple seconds. And just... And then breathe out. And you should feel some, like, type of emotional release. Just due to, like, the muscles that's moving there and shit. Because whenever you're in, like, that stifled state of being, of, like, I have to do this, basically like a fight or flight type of thing. If going to that space on a reoccurrence type of basis, then it's like your breath and shit becomes more confined, more like less able to stretch out the lungs. Cause you're just like type of shit, right? So it's like in like expanding that shit, you're creating like stretches that your body didn't normally do. You could look at the practice of yoga and shit. People use that to release emotions that they had been storing and shit. Like you could say like if we're dealing with like a heavy Libra time, like your fucking Libra space, your waist space right here, that shit'll get tight. If you got fucked up relation senses, aka like you use shit that's outside of you for the sense of relation, then that your hip space will be tight. And then as you go and fucking do stretches for that space and alleviate that space, you'll be able to feel more lighter, aka able to more speak your shit whenever you're amongst your relations and shit like that. So it's like the body stores fucking emotions and shit. It's the anchor points and condensifications of like your internal world and shit like that. AKA start thinking hella thoughts about like anxious thoughts and shit like that. And watch your fucking shoulders get tense and shit. Watch your hands start sweating a little bit. And not to like demonize that type of shit. It's just a space, right? We all move around and shit in the internal world. So it's like, it's just about like noticing shit when it happens and be like, do I want to be here right now? And if like the situation so calls for it that you gotta be there, then it's like, okay, can I change my approach to this right now? You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm real big into like internal regulation and shit like that, as a means to like find peace and shit like that. But yeah. Really, I'm looking at this Juno and Scorpio, cause it's talking to me right now. I don't know what it, like, it's just like, I just keep on looking at it. But that's like whatever types of transformations we underwent, we're gonna be holding out for. I see Juno as a holding out type of space, in terms of like damn, it's about to be 6:30. A holding out type of space. I gotta leave for work and shit, but it's like a holding out type of space, aka like it's doing this because this type of thing. So it's like the story of like Juno and shit like that. I think Hera is also the same name, just like, or Hera points to the same space. But I looked that shit up in like Greek and Roman mythology. She was married to like Zeus / Jupiter, and like Zeus, Jupiter, he was out fucking hella other asteroids, women's and shit, other gods and shit like that, humans and shit like that. But she was with them for the sake of like notoriety. There was a power couple type of shit. She was doing this because of the access she had through that relation, right? The type of power she would gain through being with Zeus, because he was also powerful, whatever the fuck. But that's just like holding out for whatever you see as the furthest distance. So it's like come here. So it's like we're holding out for whatever transformation we made, and I using that as an anchor point for like not accepting anything that's less than whatever it is that we know that we want to hone into on an emotional state. And then, but if you're fucked, shit, you're just gonna be more fucked. Alright though, peace.